und willkommen bei Goldgeld Welt. Mein Name ist Florian Munsch und ich bin hier auf der Edelmetallmesse in München im November 2017 und habe hier die Möglichkeit, mit Neumeyer von First Majestic Silber zu sprechen. Wir haben uns letztes Jahr schon getroffen auf der Messe und ich habe mir gedacht, dieses Jahr mache ich auf jeden Fall mal ein Video mit Keith. So Keith, thank you for taking the time.
Okay.
And very nice to meet you again.
Good seeing you as well.
Last time we spoke was exactly here last year.
I remember.
And I would like to have a basic introduction about your company, what you're doing, to give my audience a bit feeling about this.
Well, a basic introduction's a little bit challenging. There's a lot of moving parts. First Majestic is pretty big business. It's second largest silver producer in Mexico. We have 6 producing mines, 4,000 employees, and
4,000,
and produce about 12 million ounces of silver this year, about 15-16 million ounces of silver equivalent, which includes some gold and some lead and some zinc. And 2017 has been a real kind of a bit of a difficult year for us, just because the whole mining sector, as you must know, has gone through a period of time where we didn't have the cash flows to reinvest capital into the business. And mining is a very cash intensive business. It requires a lot of investment for development and exploration. And if you're not doing that work on a yearly basis, we're getting video right here.
Some coffee coming.
If you're not doing this work on a yearly basis, the mines aren't being properly developed, and that's what happened with us, and that's what happened with the entire mining sector. So
many things happened. So I saw you just decreasing your cost structure a lot.
Of course, yeah. And that's what we have to do, right? So as the costs started being driven down in 2015, 2016, we started making profits again, because when the metal price is dropping so quickly in 2013 and 2014, we started losing money. For every ounce of silver we're selling, which is obviously unacceptable. So we had to change the business and improve the things that we're doing. So now we're profitable again. Now we're making money.
In a bad market, that's some accomplishment, I think.
Yeah.
Because there are some companies always being good in good times, and in bad times really having trouble. And you being profitable at this time, where the silver price isn't really where it should be. We can talk about this later, but it's impressive.
Well, thanks. And our costs are about 50% lower today than they were 3-4 years ago. And there is cash flow coming into the business now, and we're reinvesting that capital in development exploration. And so over the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to start seeing production increasing again. So we're going to start going up and up and up like that. And hopefully, we have silver prices going up as well, which I think we will. So we'll have increased production, we'll have increasing silver prices. So I'm pretty optimistic over the next couple of years what's going to
me too. So I'm a shareholder, and I'm not only having this lever of higher silver prices for my own story and your story. It's cheap now, in my opinion, and for the coming years, even if silver prices don't rise, it's a quality business, and eventually at some time silver prices must rise, and then we are positioned.
And these stocks, we saw it in 2016. All of a sudden, First Majestic went from $4 Canadian to 25 Canadian in 6 months, and you can't buy it because the stock just goes straight up like that. And there's no point in chasing it. But in this sector, you have to be prepared to be wrong for a period of time. You should be picking good quality companies that are run by good quality management teams that have made people money in the past. And pick a half a dozen companies spread out over your desired metal or portfolio, or however you want to structure your own portfolio. And as I said, I remember listening to an interview of Rick Rules. I'm not sure if your listeners know who he is, but he's a famous American investor. And he said in an interview interview just a couple of months ago that when he's down 50% on one of his investments, it's usually those
Something's
investments.
Yeah,
no, it's usually those investments that he makes most of his money.
No. Or he told like there isn't one 10-bagger or something that didn't go down 50% before it went up.
Exactly. That's exactly what he said. You're right.
I know his quote.
Okay. You knew the quote better than me.
Never mind.
Yeah, anyways, but it's true, investors get frustrated, but it's just the mining sector. It's just the way it is. You got to be prepared to.
It's so cyclical. So I think it's an opportunity to go into a cyclical market when prices are depressed and everybody loses their head, and they think so portfolio managers kick the stocks of commodities and precious metals and so on out of their coverage, and that's the time to get involved.
Right.
Okay.
Investors have to ask themselves the question. Let's say they buy a stock at $10, and then all of a sudden the stock's trading at $5. Right. There was a reason why they bought it at 10. Now, does that reason exist today at 5?
Absolutely.
Right. And if the reasons are the same, then why sell it? You don't have to buy anymore because maybe you can't afford to buy anymore. But there's no point in selling it, right? You just wait it out. Of course, if fundamentals change and there's a problem, then you have to analyze your portfolio, and you may have to sell a few losers now and then just because the fundamentals have changed. But if it's just the share price that's changed and the fundamentals are still intact, then stay with the position.
Yeah, absolutely. What I would like to know, and I think the audience is very interested about, is your view, the macro view on the silver price and the silver market. So I heard many interviews of you on YouTube and so on, and really kept an eye on it, and I would like to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I get kind of highly criticized for my view. I'm a triple-digit silver guy, and when you're trading, $1,200, $80 or let's say $1,300 gold, and then you're mining on a global scale. For every 1 ounce of gold, you're mining 9 ounces of silver, which is quite shocking, and most people don't know that. I mean, if you think about that, what does that tell you? Right? It tells you that silver is a lot rarer than people think it is, and silver is being consumed worldwide at an alarming rate, and it's not showing up in price for whatever reason, because there's a huge short position. The banks don't want the metal to run, but eventually that's all going to fall apart. That's going to unwind.
So is the gold-silver ratio some important factor for you, or is it just that silver is rarer than not rarer than gold, but rarer as it seems by the gold-silver ratio, and it's consumed? So what's your point?
And that's exactly my point, and that's why I'm a triple-digit silver guy. I think we should be trading at 9-to-1. So $1,300 gold, that's $130+ silver, and people go, at $17, how can silver be $130? But really, in reality, that's where it should be. You look at worldwide mine supply in 2015, it was 850 million ounces. Worldwide mining supply in 2016 was 800 million ounces. Worldwide mining supply in 2017, the current year that we're in today, we don't know the exact number yet, but the numbers that's estimated is 750 million ounces. So in 2 years, the world supply from all miners globally has dropped by 100 million ounces, and consumption is still rising. Solar panels, electric cars, all the electronics, of course, robotics, everything that we're doing in the human race.
And why is that? Is it base metal mines shutting down and silver as a byproduct being less produced?
Well, of course it's that to a degree. We saw a couple of big zinc mines shut down over the last few years, but look at Tahoe. 20 million ounces right there from Guatemala. There's big mines in Australia. I'm active in Mexico. You see our production, First Majestic's production is down 30% in the last 2 years. Coeur d'Alene, all the big miners are producing less silver today than they did a few years ago, because silver is way more difficult to find than people think it is, and it's just not showing up in price.
And what's the catalyst for the silver price? Is it supply-demand thing, or is it manipulation, or is it QE?
When you say catalyst, you mean catalyst to make it
Yeah, to make it more
start to move.
Yeah.
You know,
To really get into the range of $40, $50.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's headlines. You know, the Nasdaq is going up.
momentum.
Yeah, it's just the headlines. You know, there's the Nasdaq going up every day, and you know, all the money's rushing into U.S. high tech stocks, and you know, and that's where people are making money. People aren't making money buying mining stocks. You know, they're not making money buying gold and silver. You know, so that will change. I look at the current environment right now, very, very similar to the environment that existed in 1999, 2000, 2001, and we know what happened. You know, the Nasdaq dropped by 50% over a 3-year period, and that's going to happen all over again. And we started a 10-year bull market in 2002 on the miners, where we saw gold go from $250 an ounce to $1,900 an ounce. Silver went from $5 an ounce to $50 an ounce. So those are the kinds of moves I think are going to happen again. And we don't know if it's going to be tomorrow. We don't know if it's going to be next year, but it will happen. And we're going to start another very big bull market, probably bigger than the last one we saw. And you know, if we see gold go up 8 times like we did last time, you know,
nobody can imagine, but that's always
that's a big number from current level. That's a big number. You see silver go up 10 times, which happened before. That's there's my triple-digit silver right there.
Yeah, and I always see the analysts like their ideas and their perspectives like accumulation. They all think it's the same. In a down market, they predict gold prices which are lower, and always. And the next year, and when a new bull market starts, everyone gets even more bullish. And so
well, it wasn't too long ago that Bitcoin was $250, and today I think it broke through $7,000. I heard. So
just out of interest, are you interested in Bitcoin, or do you think it's
I wouldn't go that far. You know, I don't really understand it. You know, I missed the boat on it. You know, I've got a small investment in a cryptocurrency stock that went public. Hive. I'm not sure if you heard about it. But
I hope early enough.
Well, you know, it's interesting to see what happens, but it's just been on fire. So, that's my only investment in the space.
Okay. Thank you very much for the interview. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
And I hope my viewers also enjoy it.
Oh, great. Good seeing you
Thank
again.
you.
Okay, thank you.
So, das war Neumeyer von First Majestic Silber. Und ja, echt cool, so ein Interview mit ihm zu machen. Ich finde immer sehr, sehr interessant, so sein Makro-View auch auf die ganze Geschichte. Also er ist jemand, ich lese mir auch ganz viele Artikel mit Kies durch oder was er so sagt in Interviews. Und im Silbermarkt ist er wirklich so einer von den Oberbullen, die immer sagen, es geht höher und höher und wird dafür kritisiert, und irgendwann hat er recht. Und damit, tschüss.